What is real? How do you define real?
Like everyone else, you were born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
The Fashion Matrix Podcast with Pablo Mentor.
Wake up and be free.
Welcome everyone to the Fashion Matrix Podcast. This is Pablo, our host. And even though this episode is uploaded way after the actual Father's Day, I make a podcast talking about this. Not only because myself, I'm a father now. My daughter, she's almost 8 months old. But also because I think it's very important. And in today's world, if you're not paying attention, there is, how do you put it, almost like an attack against manliness and against fatherhood. Right? It's almost like the elite or whatever the fuck you wish to call it. The internet fucking reptilians. There's something in the current society that wants to destroy or dismantle the family nucleus, right? It's almost like it's bad if you become a father. Now it's immediately there's something wrong with you because I'm a father, right? Unless I go with this fucking liberal agenda where it's cool to. Or if, I just saw that on Instagram on a fucking post, which of course it's bullshit probably, right? Because just because you saw it on a post or some social media does not mean that it's actually true. Or even if you heard it on a podcast, you need to make your own research and dive in deeper with everything that you see. But I saw that in the Congress of the United States, I think. People are not the people over there. They're not calling mothers anymore to the mothers, right? They're calling them birthing people or some weird shit like that. And I was like, damn, is this shit for real? God damn, get the hell out of here, birthing people. It's a mother, right? A mother is a mother, and that term is correct. But today we're going to talk about fathers. So to give you a little bit of background on my own story, I grew up without a father. Right, my father died in a car accident when I was 3 years old. And if you grew up without a father, then you know the struggles that entitled that it comes along with that, right? Growing up without a father. Even though at first, because you go to therapy or you have, I have a very mother and I have brothers, and overall my family, the relationship between my family was really good. But still, you grow up if you don't have a father figure, and if you don't have a father, you grow up with lacking certain skills, okay? Because it's very important. I don't give a fuck if you're the greatest mother of them all. Whether you lack a mother or you lack a father, there's something that is lacking there, okay? Not to say that you cannot learn how to cope with that and learn how to deal and develop those skills on your own, again, by developing yourself, going to therapy and this and that. But as you grow up, because you're a child, you really have no idea what the hell is going on. So I grew up and I always had this idea that what the hell is going on. I mean, I saw the kids with a man, and I just didn't know what it meant. A man around you. Even just the pure energy about it, right? Because my mom, she didn't have any other fathers. She didn't have any other, she didn't have any other relationships, is what I'm trying to say. And I had that was the main father figure that I had. But I mean, he was sick. He lived with us. My mom, my sister and my brother and myself. But he was really sick. He could barely stand up and walk around, right? And so he was just laying down all the time in his room. But still, if I had to be totally honest, brutally honest, I would say that yes, of course, I had a father figure, which was him. And he showed me some certain things, but you know, he did his best, right? And also my mom, she did her best. But still, there are certain things that lack. And I'd like to make a parenthesis, like a small connotation, where there's a difference between having a father figure, a dad, and a father. What's the main difference between all these three? Well, a father figure, it could be anybody who's senior to you, and you give them that hierarchy, right? You give them that respect, that there's someone who knows more than you. Here's in front of you someone who's senior to you and can teach you and has more experience. So in a hierarchy, he's above you, right? And I think that's a father figure, almost like a / mentor, okay? Someone you can look up to and can teach you. And that doesn't necessarily falls into your father, because I think that's the problem. I think sometimes we put on labels on people, right? I know I did it myself. I know because I grew up without a father, I started putting a lot of labels onto that guy that was my father, right? The biological person that died. So I started idolizing him, like, if my father was here, I would probably do. When the reality is that we don't know, because they're human beings, our parents, right? And fathers are fucking human beings as well, and we fuck up all the time. We're trying to figure it out as we go along. I know that myself, I'm still figuring it out. I mean, shit, I just became a father 8 months ago. And I'm figuring this shit out every day. Because the moment you say, I've got it, then something new happens. A new event develops, and then you're like, oh man, it's like a curveball, and you have to adapt. So you make the best with what you have. So what I'm trying to say is that your father, your biological father, doesn't necessarily have to be your father figure or your mentor, even though that's the ideal, especially in society and in movies, that's the ideal, right? And yeah, of course, I mean, he's your father. He's the one who's supposed to protect you and supposed to lead you and teach you and guide you, which I'll give you an exercise by the end of this. Bear with me. A father or a dad, which is another difference that I wanted to make. It's a dad. It's a person that is there always, just having fun with you, just playing with you or feeding you or stuff like that, right? It's the dad is the person that is only there in the good moments. And we've all had people like that, right? For example, I have an uncle, which I can call him is kind of like a father figure, but he was not really there on the things that actually matter. But he was always there in the fun parts. He was there, always playing with me and not really talking about hard things, trying to teach me anything. He was just there. So yeah, that's like a dad, right? And then the father is the one that is always there, trying to be the father figure and also trying to be like the mentor and the dad. And it's in between the good times and the bad times, and he has to be in the hard times, and it's just a full-time job. I mean, god damn, if you're a father yourself, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I mean, in the past, there was no distinction, right? In the past, it was just the father was fill in the blank. In the past, it was just the person that paid the bills. That's basically it. You could barely see that man or that guy, and he was just going to work, and he's someone who was supposed to do some sort of a discipline. He was always mad and come here and tell you, do your homework or make your chores and listen to your mom, this and that. The actual person that would raise you, or let me erase that. Raise you is a fucked up word. What's another word? Because raise is like for cattle. We raise cattle. We don't raise our kids. We we nurture them, if that's another. Maybe you have a better word for it. But the moms were the only ones. That's why we hold the standards of a mom. It's also pretty fucked up, because we have a lot of labels on mothers, when the reality is that moms are also humans, and they're also kind of fucked up, and they're also, I see it with my wife. She's also trying to figure this shit out as she goes along, and she's she's adapting to this whole thing. So I think now we have more of an awareness on what it means to be a father, and it's a very beautiful thing. But at the same time, we don't give it enough credit, right? We don't give it enough credit. So before I jump into that, I was telling you my story, right? So I had a father figure for a very short period of time, and then I had a dad, which is my uncle, and we were always playful. And then the father, of course, I didn't have a father. So I gotta tell you, man, this whole new agenda of fathers don't matter, and I'm a single mom, and I'm super strong, and I don't need no man, and I'm a father and a mother. Because that's something that my mom used to do. She was always telling me that, well, you don't need your father, right? Because you have me. I'm both I'm both a mother and a father, and that's wrong. That's not it. Each role is different, and they both play a role. It's very key and fundamental for the development of a child, mentally, emotionally, socially, right? And of course, I would even say spiritually, because the energy that a man brings, it's different than an energy that a woman brings. So it completes you. I don't want to say that I'm incomplete, because that was maybe before. I used to think that there's something that will never be there. Of course, like I would never know what it means to be what it means to have a father. But now that I'm a father, I think that now I understand a little bit more. And that's why now I understand why I grew up in the way that I grew up, why I like the things that I like, because I didn't have that role. And as I see my beautiful daughter, I'm like, okay, now I know. Like small things, it's just being there and giving her some protection, right? I can tell you that my daughter sleeps better when I'm around. And she's a fucking toddler. She's a fucking baby. She doesn't understand, there's a man, there's a woman. It's just the energy about it. And I remember when I grew up, I would always look for role models, right? I just wanted to be around male figures, because I knew that I felt the difference on male figures, like senior male figures, right? So just understand that the psychological implications of being a father and having a father. So this podcast is dedicated to the fathers, right? Because it's for Father's Day, and just understand, if you have your father, understand that even though maybe your father wasn't the best person, and maybe he wasn't the best father figure, because we put on all that society and movies and books and all these things, they persuade us, and they implant these ideals of what it means to be a father or a son or any of this bullshit. And they do it because they want to sell things. It doesn't necessarily mean that in the real world that's how you're supposed to be. Okay, so here's a great exercise that you can do on your own. A father means blank, and then you fill in what it means to be a father. What it means to be a father for you, okay? The ideal of a father. Well, a father is... And I think all these ideals, we have our own ideals based on the country that we live in, this, that, depending on who we are. But we also have global ideals, okay? Global values that they're playing us all the time. That's the main problem. They're manipulating us, these global ideals, these global values. Now, some of them might be good, and some of them, maybe they don't work for us. So these ideals of what it means to be a father, maybe that the main goal of this exercise is to understand that maybe those ideals and those values of what it means to be a father, maybe they're not yours. Maybe they are because you saw it on a global value, right? It's something that the whole world knows. Well, being a father is someone who pays the bills. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Is that something that you really, really think and you really believe? Or maybe something that it was implanted onto you. Okay. However, still, we have to understand that fathers play a huge role. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. It plays a huge role because it's. I mean, I don't want to say what it is because again, I don't know. God damn it, I don't know. But that not knowing led me to study a lot of what it means to being a father and having a father. Is it the discipline side? Is it the security? Is it the what? What is it? Okay. So that's the message that I wanted to transmit to you, what it means. And even though it's going to be different for all of us, we can still lay some foundations and understand that when you have a father and you're in the presence of a father, you know that the child is going to grow up better. Not because the father is better than mother or the mother is better than the father. No. It's because the father brings different things to the table. It brings things that no other person can put. Okay, no other person can actually fill in those gaps or in a child. So I see it with my daughter again, and even though I still don't know what it means to be a father because I'm trying to figure it out. I see how my daughter reacts in front of my wife, in front of her mother, and I see how she reacts when she's around me, and I'm just trying to see the patterns. Okay, I'm trying. So I'm taking notes. I'm like, okay, cool. So she needs this, and she reacts different when I'm around. So that means that I bring this energy to the table. Boom. So I write it down, and then I start to realize. And again, I'm not to say that I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to say, oh, voila, there we go. I figured it out, and this is what it means to be a father. I'm going to sell you the ideal of what it means to be a father. No, I think I try to be a better man every day. Again, this is a whole podcast, what it means to be a man. You can fill in the gap also. But for me, for myself, what it means to be a man for me. Okay, what it means to be a good man, and how can I develop myself? What are some of the things that I can compliment my wife on? Because I know that she's a great person. I love her. She's fully developed. But I know that I can bring some things that I will add on to her. And the same, she does the same with me. And that's why the nucleus of a family between a mother and between a woman and a man, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's something that I'm not saying that it's the ideal, but I'm saying at least energetically, the male energy and the female energy needs to be there, right? It creates a balance. She creates balance in me, and I know that I create balance in her, and I see that in my daughter as well. Okay, I see some of these things playing out right in front of me, where here's a little person that doesn't know shit about society. She doesn't know anything about the conditioning of the world. And I'm seeing how she's developing herself. So I'm figuring it out, right? I'm probably just improvising every single fucking day. But I can tell you this. I know that I want to be a better man. I know that I want to be a better person. Not just a man, but a better person, period. So that I can lead her or guide her or just show her. Not by telling her this is what you're supposed to do and this is what you're supposed to say. No, I don't want to what's the word? I don't want to implement or condition her in any way, shape, or form. I know that I'm going to do it because that's just the way the world is. You know, I have certain preferences that maybe I will pass on to her, maybe, but I want to develop her. Instead of raising a child, how do you develop it? And you grow with her. And I don't want to show her shit. I want her to become a person of her own. I want her to choose her own shit. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm always going to be there. I'm still developing myself. I'm still trying to become a better version of myself, because I know that there's always room for improvement. And maybe that's it. Okay? Maybe that's what we need to show our kids. And maybe that's what a father means. Maybe that's the role of a father. Showing how you can continue to grow and keep those without losing your shit, keeping the core values, keeping your essence, always questioning, not being a sheep, right? Just blindly following what what the masses tell you to believe, and keeping your integrity, having the willpower to follow your heart, follow those beliefs that you're developing, that you're continuously developing. Okay, so again, if you have a father, I mean, I shouldn't say this. It's this. What I'm about to say is something that it's not necessarily, right? I don't need to say it because you probably already know it. But if you have your father, then fucking embrace that man. Okay, forgive, let go, understand that if that person has or flaws, well, you have some flaws as well, because we're fucking humans, and we're all in this fucking matrix. We're all trying to figure out what it means to be a good person. But tomorrow is not for sure. Okay, we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. So even you might say goodbye, Dad, today, and then tomorrow that your dad might not be here. So what I'm trying to say is embrace and enjoy and be present, and fully be present, fully make the best of that person that is still here with you. Okay, forgive and enjoy. Okay, and just embrace that man, and try to learn as much as you can from that person, and hear the stories, and just soak up on all the experiences, and just try, right? Just try. And you, as you keep trying to become a better person and a better version yourself, just see the flaws and try to heal those traumas. All right, try to if you're trying to be a father yourself, try to not replicate the same bullshit that your father did. Okay, and just that, enjoy your father. Just coming from a person that grew up without a father, I know that probably my dad was full of shit. Probably he had a lot of flaws, but still, man, it's fucking cool having a father. It's fucking cool, especially now that it's almost like bad being a father. Well, how about you fucking enjoy it? And how about you learn from those mistakes that your father did, so that you can become a better father, or just a better person and a better man. Okay, so this is just a salute for all the fathers out there. I know that you're figuring out. I know you're trying to be a good human being, a good man, and you're showing up for your kids. I think that's what we need more in society. We need the balance. It's a little bit out of balance, if that makes sense, and we need to bring it back by bringing those values of being a good father. And it's not just about the mother, and it's not just about the father. It's about both, and both bring something totally different yet totally complementary and beautiful. Okay, so salute to all the fathers out there. That's what we need more in today's world. More of that discipline, more of that male figure. All right, so be the best version of yourself, and until the next one.